You ever loved someone so much that you'd endure a decade of pain just because of a promise? And then one day, you wake up and realize the person who hurt you the most was the one you trusted the most. That's the story of Maureen O'Hara, Hollywood's Technicolor queen, whose life behind the cameras was far darker than any movie she ever starred in. Imagine it. The world adores you, calls you a star, yet inside your home, you live in silence, trapped by someone who was supposed to love you. "Isn't it about time you stayed home?" he once said, and she obeyed, quietly, for 10 years. Maureen O'Hara wasn't just a beautiful face. She had fiery red hair, eyes that never bowed, and a voice that demanded respect. From Ireland to Hollywood, she carried herself with a proud independence that few dared to match, turning down weak roles and choosing women on screen with grit, depth, and dignity. To audiences, she was a dream. To herself, a battlefield. Born Maureen Fitzsimons on the 17th of August, 1920, in Dublin, she grew up surrounded by books, art, and a strict father who taught her to stand tall. Her mother nurtured her love for the stage, but it was Maureen's own fierce spirit that propelled her from Ireland to London, then to Hollywood, by her early 22nd. In 1941, she married director Will Price, a man who seemed kind, smart, and worldly. They had a daughter, Bramwyn, in 1944, the center of her heart, but love couldn't survive a husband consumed by alcohol and insecurity. Behind the glamorous Hollywood image, Maureen endured verbal abuse, loneliness, and constant tension. She once said, "I could be strong before the whole world, but every time I came home, I just wanted to be an ordinary wife." And that ordinary life was never hers. For 10 years, she endured silent, dignified, and for the sake of her daughter and her vows. Then, on their 10th anniversary, Will Price handed her divorce papers and walked away. No explanation, no apology, no glance back. And yet, she didn't cry in public, didn't rant to the press, didn't bear hatred. She quietly signed and returned to work, still smiling at the camera while her heart was shattered. But her suffering wasn't limited to her marriage. Hollywood itself tested her in unimaginable ways. Maureen O'Hara faced men and women who betrayed her in silence and in plain sight, threatening her career and her dignity. The first was Errol Flynn, the silver screen heartthrob who turned from on-screen lover to behind-the-scenes predator. On their first week filming Against All Flags, Flynn arrived drunk, cursing the crew. During a kiss scene, he forced Maureen down on a bed, whispering, "You can resist, but the camera can't fake it." The directors told her to do it again. For every romantic scene after that, she had to take sedatives to cope. In her diary, she called him the man who made me fear the camera more than death. The second betrayer was John Wayne, her legendary screen partner. To the world, he was charming and dependable. To Maureen, he was a friend she trusted. But when tabloids called her a difficult diva, Wayne stayed silent. Worse, he made comments that cut deeper than any words could, leaving her to navigate Hollywood's treachery alone. Then came Tyrone Power, a man who once made her believe in love outside the camera. They shared secret letters, dates, whispered promises. She thought he saw her, not the character. But Power got engaged to someone else while still seeing her, leaving her in despair. She disappeared for 6 months, learning to breathe again after her heart was shattered. The fourth betrayal came from another woman, Greer Garson, once Maureen's friend and ally. They competed for a lead role in The Valley of Decision. Maureen was the first choice, but days later, the part went to Greer. Greer smiled, sipped her wine, and casually reminded Maureen that, in Hollywood, everyone looks out for themselves. The betrayal stung the most because it came from someone she called sister. And finally, the fifth, James Stewart, the gentleman of American cinema. He promised to bring her back to the screen after years of obscurity, but when the project was announced, her role went to a younger actress. No call, no apology, just silence. That silence, more than any words, broke her heart. Yet, Through all of this, Maureen O'Hara never let the world see the full depth of her pain. She fought in court against false tabloid claims, won the lawsuit, and helped topple Confidential magazine. But her private victories often came at a personal cost. She refused to play the Hollywood game of seduction, manipulation, and compromise. She lived by her talent, her integrity, and her principles. Eventually, she left Hollywood, taking her daughter to a quiet life on a farm in Idaho and Arizona. No parties, no cameras, just flowers, a typewriter, and the freedom to breathe. She passed away in 2015 at the age of 95, leaving behind memories, letters, and a legacy of courage. She didn't leave millions in wealth, but she left something far more valuable: the story of a woman who endured, survived, and remained unbroken despite a world that tried to destroy her. Maureen O'Hara wasn't just a star on screen, she was a force of nature. She rode horses, fired guns, and faced snowstorms in films. But the greatest battles were fought in silence, behind closed doors, and in the hearts of those who loved her. Her legacy reminds us that strength often comes quietly, and survival sometimes means enduring in ways the world will never see. If you've ever endured betrayal, heartbreak, or silent suffering, you're not alone. Maybe you've walked through storms unseen, as Maureen did, and maybe, like her, your quiet strength is your ultimate triumph. So, if Maureen O'Hara's story touched you, if her courage and endurance inspired you, hit that like button, leave a comment sharing the part that moved you most, and subscribe to this journey of untold stories. Because some battles are fought in silence, and some heroes are never forgotten.